Hello everyone, so this is the first video of the year. I was abroad traveling, so I was searching for locations, especially since we will have a retreat at the end of the year, but it will be a light one for English speakers, as there are more of them now. There are therapeutic dry fasting retreats that are drawing in more English speakers. I encountered an incident during the holiday season of Christmas and New Year. So it was a severe disc herniation that hit me during the entire holiday season, so I was almost completely stuck for nearly 3 weeks, unable to sit or stand. So it was a very severe disc herniation. I was in a city, so I couldn't start the dry fasting right away, but I managed to do sequences of 3 days, and in this little video I might share a bit about my experience. Based on my experience, the new dry fasting revolution is here, and it's quite remarkable. The reference book has been released. This book contains everything you need, including preparations. You have the recipes. It is currently the most comprehensive book on dry fasting, including hygiene concepts. There are more than 22 chapters, so you will find the entire table of contents at the end of the book. It is extremely comprehensive, representing nearly 18 years of naturopathy with all the contributions from dry fasting. I have accompanied people either privately or during fasting sessions. So this summarizes a bit. A therapeutic dry fast, modernized compared to the old Russian school, is what we are discussing. We have updated it with knowledge from naturopathy, hygiene, and fasting practices. We made a kind of combo with emotional and psycho-emotional work during treatments. To my knowledge, we are the only center that does this extensively, about emotional release in a context, and offering personalized assistance throughout the treatments, including during group sessions. There are 22 chapters, but I won't detail them all. But it's extremely comprehensive. I've received 1 or 2 pieces of feedback, many compliments from a couple of people I know who have read it. The book has just been released, so I haven't received all the feedback yet, but it's going to be a really significant book. A reference point, and especially a practical guide. The issue is that I wrote this book for practical use because there are so many mistakes and nonsense out there. Many people share information on YouTube, but in reality, we have created something here. It's a secure method, I assure you. Certainly there are cases where we would begin with 10 days of dry fasting without much knowledge, but at least this book gives you some information. I'm not suggesting it contains all the information, but it provides a lot, and for those interested in fasting, they have some resources. You will find basic knowledge in this book, practical and tested concepts. It offers real-life experience. And you will find all the complications. I truly addressed various subjects, including autophagy, which we touch upon. We elaborate on all of this. Here lies the crucial role of play. There are studies and a vast amount of information. Concerning rejuvenation, there are numerous testimonies, and ultimately there are indeed 22 very thorough chapters. We also engage in discussions about it. When we discuss DNA, there's a wealth of information. You genuinely possess a practical and applicable guide. At present, without trying to boast, honestly, I think you possess the most complete book on dry fasting that exists among all dry fasting works. I doubt you'll find anything as detailed. It's complete and especially practical. You have many books that are heavy on theory, but this one is based on real experiences and practical knowledge. This knowledge is intertwined with my personal experiences because I often say that in dry fasting, While it's beneficial, many people have various theories, but to gain a comprehensive understanding of this method, you must practice it yourself. So I had to do it. I experienced it myself. I will definitely get to it. We engage in dry fasting ourselves, support individuals and guide them through consultations, enabling us to truly gain insight. Truly all the perspectives and interpretative frameworks to comprehend and better assist individuals, allowing us to have a holistic understanding, the mechanisms to feel them, and also the inner spiritual aspect. So he has come out, and there are people who find it. Not everyone does, but you need to inquire a little. There's Amazon and Marco the publisher. I will share the link and you can find it anywhere. This book. This is genuinely a book created for humanity. It serves as a reference with reliable information, and of course it is intended to evolve. To evolve this book, of course, but you have a solid foundation that will last for years. We can make some small adjustments to the recipes. In cooking, you can juggle with small things. We aren't strict about it, but you really have a solid foundation. Every young person should have this book. It helps them. It genuinely provides security. You have all the necessary information on what to do and what to avoid during recovery. This book is indeed the go-to reference. It complements the first book very well, which was created with perhaps a slightly different vision. It's at least less practical than the first book, but it still complements it. It follows the first book. Both are interesting to read in sequence for sure. Definitely read the first book, then the second. The practical side is included. The English version has been translated from the latest edition, giving us a reference guide. Now, we shouldn't shy away from the treatments available. We have an increasing number of English speakers arriving, so I'm not sure if we are planning to add a new location, a wellness center, and I have Greece in mind. This will be our next phase. We will definitely establish Greece as another European country that we will open. We are looking to open treatment centers in Greece soon. Possibly if we manage this year, or at the very least next year, there will be organized treatments in Greece. That's the plan. So now you have these books. You have knowledge that is based on practice, based on experience, and it has been updated. According to the latest scientific data, our Russian colleagues, I'm not here to criticize them, but there hasn't been significant progress on their end, at least from what I've observed. I haven't noticed them updating their knowledge. They seem to rely on outdated information, which I find somewhat regrettable. There hasn't been any evolution, at least on a human level, in personal development or in spiritual matters. We have little progress in that regard. When it comes to food, it's not something we discuss because it's really not their area of expertise. I actually have 2 schools in Russia, one of which is focused on this. One school is heavily vegetarian, while the other takes a more balanced approach. Personally, I'm not aligned with either. I've developed something unique. We'll cover this in a later video, focusing on a specific topic, the contributions of prosthetics in output, which I believe are crucial. I don't know, but for me they are fundamental. Anyway, let me return to my story. So it was quite a setback, and today I will share some advice for people dealing with a herniated disc. I experienced paresthesia in my right leg that progressed, and I couldn't walk whatsoever. I experienced terrible pain, and I dealt with this discomfort for almost 2 or 3 For weeks I was quite surprised by the lack of anti-inflammatories, because they are absolutely useless when you have a herniated disc, regardless of the painkillers or anti-inflammatories you take. This is useless. It just decreases your immune system, making recovery harder when you attempt to return to your routine. As you begin to recover, your immune system remains affected, and you might end up eating unhealthy foods and toxins that will have to be eliminated at some point. So I'm going to provide some tips for those suffering from a herniated disc. Indeed, fasting has been one of the key strategies. I'm not claiming it's the sole solution, but it is definitely one of the crucial foundations for recovering quickly when you have a herniated disc. I had a strong inflammation in my sacrum and lumbar area, specifically in a very precise zone. And of course, there was a lot of inflammation in the disc. And of course, there was a nucleus, a kind of foam that protrudes and irritates the sciatic nerve, causing you absolutely excruciating pain, at least in my case. In my situation, it was my right leg, and I was unable to get up. I couldn't shower or even stand. It was entirely impossible, so I crawled. I was practically on the ground for almost 3 weeks. That was the situation, so I was truly immobilized for a good 3 weeks. And during those 3 weeks, I managed to do some dry fasting for 2 or 3 days, despite the city. Despite the pollution, I did some short sequences, and later I was able to be brought back. It took time and was complex, as I was in an area with not necessarily plains. And then when I returned to Switzerland at home, I was able to actually take a week off to recover. I began a 7-day dry fast right away. And then surprisingly, the leg pain eased. The paresthesia lessened, so I felt a numbness. My right foot was entirely numb because of the dry fast. It didn't happen right away, it didn't come immediately, but I think in the 2 weeks following the dry fast, my right foot paralysis went away due to the dry fast. I also did well, of course. I did the exercises that are fundamental for me for mobilization. So there is gentle yoga that we must do. There are exercises that I implemented. I quickly implemented the diet, naturally the dry fast, and then a third method which I will mention called percutaneous hydrotomy. It's a process to treat disc hernias. It is a method that was initiated by Dr. Guez, who is located in the south of France, but unfortunately he has been struck off during in short. There are Swiss practitioners of this percutaneous hydrotomy, so we proceed. It was done logically. First, we establish a sort of dehydration occurs in the discs to alleviate the pain affecting the nerves from compression. Your discs are dehydrating, which leads to less compression on the nerve endings that irritate the sciatic nerve. And then the next logical step is to rehydrate the discs using that well-known marine plasma from Quinton, along with vitamins and minerals. Thus it is a specific area where the nurse applied octopuses. Thus it is subcutaneous, and then we rehydrate the discs. And here we are, noticing aspects that will help rebuild and primarily enable the removal of that well-known nucleus, although I believe the nucleus is the tissue that protrudes beyond the disc. In fact, I believe that dry fasting has entirely autolyzed it, or even autophagically, and then I believe it was, it has greatly diminished, at least after the dry fast. I started a 7-day regimen, so this is my yearly detox that I undertake. I didn't go further because at home, well, as you know, it's very complicated, so this is the first time I did a long dry fast at home. Usually I never do it at home, but here, considering the circumstances, I couldn't imagine going on a trip with back pain in any case. It took me between 6 weeks and 2 months to completely treat a herniated disc. We see many people who undergo surgery when they have paresthesias. There is the nerve that is affected, and it's a shame because these are people who undergo 1 operation, 2 operations, 3 operations, and then afterwards, well, it's still an injury, it's still lesions, you have scars, the nerve endings are impacted, and we observe failures in these procedures, which isn't the answer. Thus, I present a solution. Here we are basic to say, well, there are dietary supplements that I've taken, etc. I won't detail everything here, but basically the 3 things really not to overlook are when you have a herniated disc. In any case, trying quickly before surgery is really fasting. It's really percutaneous hydrotomy afterwards, and then it's really the exercises of mobilization, gentle yoga. There are specific exercises. It's gymnastics. It was 20 to 30 minutes every day that I did. Well, I've reduced a bit now, but for 6 weeks, that was my routine. There you have it. So here I give you keys to treat a herniated disc. Well, the squirrel restarts for the year 2. 1020. Spain is nearly full. I think there's just 1 place remaining for the summer. It's almost all booked up now. There are 2 spots left, everything else is full. Montenegro has a bit more space available, and as the treatments fill up now, quickly there may be another treatment location for the year 2025 or perhaps 2026. By the end of 2025 there will be a program for English speakers in Colombia, but it will be a relaxed format. While there won't be full support, I will still be present to guide. It will take place in a unique seaside location. It's really something. So here we go. It's going to be really soft and cool with limited means and minimal intervention, but I will still be present to guide, and it will be nice. That's the plan. It will be a small gathering. We're not going to have 25 people, and I think I will be by myself, I believe, for this English retreat. In Colombia at the end of the year, so for those who still wish to come, please hurry. And it's possible that one day we will do it again. We could have 2 retreats during the summer because we notice that people are interested in summer retreats. It's possible that in 2026 we will have one in July and one in August, because we really have a strong demand and we can't take more than 20, I would say 22 or 25 people. We can't take more, that's it. We are 2 coaches, we can't take more. There it is. So we will see what comes next. If you are still interested, I truly believe that Montenegro still has some openings. Otherwise it will have to wait until next year, at least for the... This is Greece, you see. That's all for today. So I wish you a great continuation of the years to come, and do let me know. What do you think of the book? Please leave a comment on Amazon. It's always nice to get feedback about the book. And that's it. See you later. Bye.